From the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, this is 30 Minutes with Government with CEDRIC Peterson.
Welcome to another edition of 30 Minutes with Government. The President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savarin, and First Lady Mrs. Clara Josephine Savarin, in a working visit to St. Martin, paid a courtesy visit to His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Anders Eugene Holliday, and Mrs. Mary Louise Holliday. His Excellency Charles Savarin and First Lady then visited the Prime Minister, the Honorable William Marlin. Both visits took place on the afternoon of Thursday, October 13th. President Savarin and Mrs. Savarin was invited to St. Martin by the Dominica Foundation St. Martin to an event themed Building Meaningful Partnerships and Fostering Relationships Through Culture and Education. Prime Minister William Marlin addressed those in attendance, highlighting the historical ties that exists between St. Martin and Dominica.
It is for me a great honor to welcome His Excellency Charles Angelo Savarin, who was the 8th President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and his lovely wife, Mrs. Savarin, to St. Martin. Dominica and St. Martin are bound not only by historical ties, but more importantly, family and commercial bonds as well. Nationals of our great countries have made significant contributions to the socio-economic progress of this little 37, and our side, 16 square miles. And many of them have made St. Martin their home, to the point that not only, as Clayton pointed out, not only can a great number of them vote, but they can also run for elective office, as some of them did in our recently held parliamentary elections. Relations between our people have always been a cordial one, marked by mutual respect, friendliness, and cooperation. When a natural disaster hits Dominica, we feel it in our very bones, right here, as we know that the reverse has always been the case as well. For example, our people did not have to wait for government to swing into action to assist our brothers and sisters in Dominica in every way they could when Tropical Storm Erica wreaked havoc in your country just last year. Winair, our government-owned regional airline, could boast that it is virtually Dominica's national airline as well, and has demonstrated a singular dedication to serving the people of Dominica in good and in bad times. Similarly, we can say our own award-winning Princess Juliana International Airport, named as the best airport in the Caribbean recently, serves as a very important hub for Dominica, and in fact can be considered Dominica's international airport as well. On the other hand, produce and fruits from Dominica can be found on every street and supermarket of St. Martin at all hours of the day. Commerce between our two islands continues to grow, even without much official push. Your Excellency, it is with a big smile of satisfaction that I note that this evening has been called one of building meaningful partnerships and fostering relationships through culture and education. At the people-to-people level, this has always been happening. This brings to mind now that famous quote by the late Jamaican professor of economics, George Beckford. We in the Caribbean are already integrated. It is only the governments who do not know it.
His Excellency Charles Savarin later addressed the audience where he highlighted the challenges Caribbean islands face and where Dominica currently stands in its recovery post-Tropical Storm Erica.
The rampage of Tropical Storm Erica in August of 2015 resulted in a major loss of life and considerable damage to housing, particularly in the southern villages of Petitsavan and Dubique. These villages had to be evacuated and later abandoned as the area was rendered unsafe for continued habitation. There was also significant damage in Coliho and Kuli district and a number of other communities caused by landslides and raging rivers. Erica also did considerable damage to tourism plant and infrastructure, to roads and bridges, the airport, public utilities, and agriculture. One of the major challenges post-Erica remains the relocation of the people of Petitsavan and Dubique, who are housed in emergency shelters and for whom government has been paying rental assistance since September 2015. We have completed the construction of 50 houses in Center in Granby, completed roads and all public utilities, and the 152 displaced residents of Dubique are now resettled in their new homes. We are also in the process of developing a new housing area in Bellevue-Chopin for the displaced residents of Petitsavan with the assistance of the donation of 300 Petro casas by the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. We also had to restore communication by road, and within weeks, a number of temporary bailey bridges were erected along the west coast and across the Whitaker Gorge to reconnect the villages of Delis and Whitaker to the rest of the island. We continue with programs seeking to boost the production of pork and chicken, and have completed the construction of an abattoir, an initiative geared towards making the country self-sufficient in pork and poultry. We are also seeking to expand coffee production and have constructed a coffee processing plant and will, in the initial stages, import coffee beans for processing until local production has picked up to the extent where importation of coffee beans will no longer be necessary. We are seeking to expand cocoa production by rehabilitating existing cocoa cultivations and establishing new fields. We have taken initiatives to revive the banana industry and expanded cultivation of root crops, fruits, and vegetables, aimed in the first instance at supplying the regional market, and are implementing a multi-million-dollar feeder road program with funds from the European Union under the banana accompanying measures, the BAM. We are also seeking to modernize fisheries with the deployment of fish aggregation devices or FADs and giving assistance to fishing folk. Notwithstanding all of the above, there is still a lot of work to be done to recover fully from the impact of Tropical Storm Erica and to rebuild Dominica better. We are a vibrant democracy and therefore have an adversarial, some might even say confrontational party political system. One simply has to listen to the debates in the House of Assembly, listen to the talk shows, read the local newspapers, or online publications, Facebook postings, etc., to get a feel of the confrontational nature of our politics. However, to succeed in this national endeavor, we must, whether at home or abroad, put aside any petty differences between us and adopt those positive attributes of patriotism, love for one another, and love for country, and commitment and dedication to hard work, all of which are essential as we seek to rebuild Dominica better. Whether we are red, blue, green, orange, or yellow, we are all Dominicans, and rebuilding Dominica better is our business. Having had to cancel the World Creole Music Festival and most of the activities associated with independence last year, this year's observance of independence is celebrated under the theme, strengthening our commitment to nation building. This theme is in fact very fitting in light of the disastrous impact of Tropical Storm Erica, which is estimated to have resulted in a loss of about 90% of our gross domestic product. That is over $1 billion East Caribbean dollars, and set us back by almost a decade.
Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, Ms. Sylveria Jacobs, invited the general public to come out and attend a pre-Constitution Day panel discussion and church service. The theme for Constitution Day this year was Building One Nation, St. Martin, and was commemorated with two events, a panel discussion on October 9th and a church service on October 10th, 2016. The purpose of the panel discussion was to improve the knowledge of our local residents on their rights as citizens of St. Martin, as well as their rights as voters of Parliament. The discussion touched on topics such as the role of Parliament and the tasks of parliamentarians, among other timely topics. Here now is Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, the Honorable Sylveria Jacobs, speaking at the opening of the debate.
Some of the questions that you hear, should the born St. Martiner, quote unquote, with Dutch nationality, of naturalized parents have the same rights as a St. Martiner by heritage? These are the tough questions. By defining who is a St. Martiner by heritage, by whichever formula we define, are we then excluding all of those who are second and third generation St. Martiners of immigrant parents and feel a deep bond to this island, this land, and the people. With all the intermingling of marriages, etc., how do we then delineate and separate when we are indeed trying to unify? For some, this is a moot point, but I'll just throw it out there. Should the Constitution define us and protect us? And why? For land, for opportunity, or just to be able to say that I am a St. Martiner? Is it in fact too late? Is it? To my surprise, the other day, as minister, one of the workers, policy workers within one of the departments, there's a policy in government whereas if you have received study financing and you come back and work for government, you get a reduction on the amount you have to pay back. And so this young man applied, and to his surprise, he does not qualify. He holds a Dutch passport. He was not born here, but he spent his entire life here. So he came here as a toddler with his parents. And in the policy, it says, only landskinderen. So I said, oh, we do have some type of definition after all. But it is something that it's taken from the laws of the Netherlands Antilles. And so the landskind refers to all children born within the Netherlands Antilles of Dutch nationality back then. And it still counts today because we have not made that change. So day by day, in your work, things pop up. And so, does he find that fair? Would you find it fair? Had you grown up here and this is the only home you know, you went abroad, you studied, you come back, you're contributing to the growth of your country and you're told, no, you do not qualify for that reduction. So that's why I asked that question. That's why I asked that question. And I know the debate will be interesting, to say the least. So the dialogue has begun, and I'm proud to be able to stand here as Minister of Culture and of Education to be able to push and make this a priority. It has been, I must say, within the Department of Culture, just sitting there waiting to be pushed. And certain definitions are already there. But I felt in no way can we just pick it up, put it in a document, agree in a council of ministers, send it on to all of the different councils, and then have the representatives debate it in Parliament without hearing and having you take part in these discussions. So that's what these discussions are about.
More stories still ahead as 30 Minutes with Government continues after these public service announcements.
From the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, this is 30 Minutes with Government with CEDRIC Peterson.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was abducted and sold. All my documents were confiscated and money was withheld from me. I was isolated and confined to one area. I was forced into prostitution. I was forced to lie to authorities and my family. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling the National Reporting Bureau on Human Trafficking at 542-1553 or send email to naticotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation. Please report it.
From the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, this is 30 Minutes with Government with CEDRIC Peterson.
The St. Martin Fire Department and Friends of the Island Government Firefighters is celebrating Fire Prevention Month which started on October 3rd and ends on October 30th. Fire Prevention Month is packed with information and activities to raise fire safety awareness within the community. The theme of this 2016 Fire Prevention Month is Knowing Your Emergency Plan. This year, the St. Martin Fire Prevention Department has partnered with several organizations to organize various activities. One such activity is the setting up of an emergency plan and executing drills for all primary schools. The St. Martin Fire Department held one of the fire drills at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Primary School in Dutch Quarter on Wednesday, October 12th. The fire department drill team, led by fireman Pedro Wilson, spoke about the MLK drill exercise.
I'm very proud and happy to know that I will be working along on the evacuation plan with Mr. Stewart, who's principal of the Martin Luther King School. And like my colleagues and already explained, that we did the evacuation drill today, and it was very well done. Just a little tweaks here and there, and it will be worked on. We know come next year around this time, it will be perfect.
The school management and staff, I would like to extend my appreciation to the fire department that came out and assisted us this morning with the official drill that took place. We are the first public education school that completed a comprehensive evacuation plan, including the areas of medical, earthquake, and other scenarios that would be possible, electrical, in the event of an emergency. That plan dates back to 2013 and was shared with amongst the other public schools within public education. We are now included in this plan now is the fire department, which would involve us getting a more realistic approach to how we have to tweak and adjust our emergency plans that we have already set in place, including that of a fire, or should it be an electrical outage whereby the current is off and certain support materials would be needed, a handbell that we've utilized in today's drill, and as members of the fire department indicated, the use of a fire extinguisher and smoke detectors is of paramount importance to support this plan that we have. So of course, by extension, I'm also reaching out to the community at large and the business community that would be eager to contribute to see the welfare of our children become priority number one, and that education continues to be priority number one. We're again glad with the rating we received today in the drill, and we look forward to a good, healthy working relationship that we've always had with the fire department. Well, of course, the teachers overall did well, and there's some areas of improvement in terms of adjusting to the particular situation that it is. Information and communication is extremely important in the event there is a real situation at present. We've had minor situations in the past which was more localized and was easier to manage, but on a wider scale, should there be a mass evacuation, there's areas that we have to explore, such as evacuation outside of school, the designated area for that. Substitute members, should teachers be out, who would substitute within the designated areas. So a plan is always adjusting, it's always evolving, and that's why I'm very elated that today's drill included the fire department, who are the experts within this prevention area, who are aware of the different areas that are desperately needed in an evacuation plan. So we're going to take those considerations that we had in our debriefing after the drill very seriously. Actually, there is a staff meeting planned right after this event, this press conference this morning, and we look forward to, of course, that being part of our ongoing plans and preparations for our school.
Be sure to check out local listings for other activities planned for the remainder of the month of October for Fire Prevention Month.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, where your mouth still remember the taste of my love, where your eyes still smile from your cheeks.
And finally, the St. Martin Tourist Bureau hosted a VIP welcome reception at the Princess Juliana International Airport in honor of Tamilia Chance, a local songstress who competed in the hit reality TV show The Voice Kids. 12-year-old Tamilia Chance was presented with an Achievement Award by the St. Martin Tourist Bureau's representatives. She was greeted with live steel pan entertainment, surrounded by fans, family, and friends, who cheerfully welcomed her. 30 Minutes with Government spoke with Tamilia during her cocktail reception held at the Belmont La Semana Resort on Monday, October 10th, where she told us about her amazing experience.
The show took place the 27th of August, and it was a nice experience. It was a great ambiance. It was very fun, and we worked a lot with the coach. We got to meet a lot of people, so it was very nice.
Tell us how you got prepared to get to this particular point. How did you get prepared to get to The Voice?
So I posted a 50-second video online on Facebook, and it went viral. It got 28 million views. We got contacted by CBS and The Voice Kids in France, and they asked for me to come on the show, and I was like, of course, why not? And my mom was excited, my whole family, and so we went up to for the pre-selections, and I got selected to go on the blind auditions. And since everything was pre-recorded, I couldn't say anything. Even though I was in finals, I couldn't say anything, so it was very hard. But as soon as it get aired on TV, I was like, yeah, I'm in finals, so it was very a nice experience.
Incapable de voir, mais tu sais que sans en avoir l'air, tu construis l'histoire. À chacun sa gloire, s'arrêter, quelques heures s'en aller, comme un avion qui passe de ce monde qui nous laisse.
30 Minutes with Government also spoke to Tamilia's mom, Mrs. Dianique Chance, to get her take on her daughter's new claim to success.
Well, it was mostly me and her at the beginning because she's very reserved and everything, so preparation was a lot of training. I got help from Miss Helen Hart the last month before because I couldn't do everything. You must always admit that you cannot do everything, so you always seek help, and she helped me a lot with her breathing and stuff. And it's always good for the kid as a parent, if you're coaching the child, it's good to take them out of the house because they're going to be like, okay, you're talking too much. They need somebody else from time to time for them to feel like they're actually doing a coaching. Because I'm her mom, so I'm not like, she's like, between mom and coach, she's like, oh yeah. And every time I turn my back, she disappears. But when she goes to someone else's house, she respects, she stays there, and she will focus a lot more.
That brings us to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes with Government. For video on demand of this and all Department of Communication programming, be sure to visit the official government website, stmartingov.org. I'm CEDRIC Peterson. On behalf of the government of St. Martin and all of us here at the Department of Communication, thanks for watching.